The 7-star TYRANITAR Tera raid event is now live in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. In today's video, we're going to cover all of the details as well as the best solo build to run through this event and farm it for high cost items while it's running. The 7-star TYRANITAR Tera raid is running for its first time out from the 28th of March until the 30th, so you've got a couple of days to take advantage of this event in game before it does disappear and return for its second time out the following weekend. As always, to access this event in your game, come to your Poke Portal from your menu screen, then head down into Mystery Gifts, and then go to check Poke Portal news. This will connect you to the servers and update your map in Paldea, so that 7-star Tera raid event will appear on your map. It will look like this with the Ghost Terra symbol, so once you find it, you can head over to it and then take it on. Big shout out to Sarah B as always for compiling this information. The big things that we want to look out for in this raid are the moves. It's going to have that focus energy. It's going to boost its critical hit chances throughout the raid. It's going to have guaranteed critical hit chances after that with the Shadow Claw and the Stone Edge, and then boosted critical hit rates to the Crunch and the Earthquake. It's also going to have Dragon Dance in this raid to boost its attack and its speed, so you want to try and prevent that. Can only be caught once per save file, and of course it will have a Ghost Terra typing with an Adamant Nature, so it will be hitting a lot harder in this raid. The script for the TYRANITAR is pretty straightforward. It's going to have its shield activation on 80% of its HP remaining all the time remaining in the raid. It's going to nullify our stats and abilities on 85% of the time remaining, and it will nullify its stats and abilities on 79% of the time remaining. On 75% of the time remaining, it's going to go for a Dragon Dance that's repeated on 65%, and finally it will nullify its stats once again in the raid on 40% of the time remaining. As always with these 7-star Tera raids, you're going to get a bunch of high cost items that are going to be really good to go and farm this weekend if you're going to repeat this event. Ability patches, you're going to get Ghost Terra shards, level up candies, and of course those illustrious Herbamystic. This event can drop every single type of these 5 Herbamysticas, and you're going to have a 3% chance of them dropping every time you go into the raids. So the build that we're featuring in today's video is going to be for Primeape. Yes, not Annihilape, the normal 7-star killer, but it is going to be its pre-evolution. So Primeape going to have the Ghost Terra typing. Held item is going to be the Shell Bell, and of course, like usual, it is going to be set to level 100 with all of its IVs set to 31. Its moveset is pretty straightforward. Rage Fist and Taunt is all you're going to need for this raid. Rage Fist is a level up move and Taunt is a TM. The EV spread is going to be 252 EVs in HP and in defense, with an Adamant Nature, the remaining EVs put into that attack stat. And the most important thing on this set is the Anger Point ability, meaning that if we do get hit by a critical hit, then it will max out our attack to +6. So your Primeape should look like this once it's put together. Build will be down in the description below if you want to take a closer look at it, and we'll jump into the raid now. I'll show you how easy it can be to take down this 7-star TYRANITAR. So when you first come into the raid against the TYRANITAR, it doesn't matter as well what a partnering Pokemon you have coming into this raid. If you've got an Intimidator, it will help out a bunch, but it's not essential for running through the TYRANITAR. This is going to be one of the fastest ways to farm through if you're going after those high cost items this weekend when the event is running. So you're going to see it set up that focus energy, max out its critical hit chances, and turn 1 we're going to lock in with a Rage Fist. This is just going to help us tick down our terrestrialization counter, and we're kind of hoping for a critical hit from the TYRANITAR on this first turn to max out our Anger Point, just so we can get a bit more damage onto the field. And exactly what we see, there it is. The nice thing about the Rage Fist as well, every time we do take an attack from the TYRANITAR, its base power is going to increase. So a lot like the Annihilape that we'd normally see in this situation, but the Primeape going to do just as good a job. It doesn't have that ghost weakness like we've got with Annihilape early on in this raid before we do terrestrialize. So we'll get that Rage Fist, that second one, off as we take another Shadow Claw here. And this should allow us just about to survive. And the next turn, turn 3, is where we're going to lock in with a Taunt. Now, the one thing with this build is that you're going to have to feint in this raid, but it's all for a good cause. It makes the raid actually a lot faster than any other build that I've seen. So we'll take this Shadow Claw. This will inevitably make us feint and take us off the field for the next few turns, which is fine. This is exactly what we want to happen. It's going to chip away at the raid timer, and it's going to activate all of these different script and notifications that we're going to see. So the shield going up is the first one. We're going to see the TYRANITAR nullify its stats and abilities on its side of the field, and then it'll nullify stats and abilities on our side of the field, which it only does once throughout the raid. It'll also prevent the TYRANITAR from going for a Dragon Dance, like you can see here, and the timing of the Taunt as well is perfect because it prevents that second Dragon Dance as well, making sure that the TYRANITAR is kind of kept in check throughout the raid. So once we come back onto the field, we're going to lock in with another Rage Fist. That is just going to take us over the edge. So the next turn, we're going to be able to Terastallize. And hopefully we see the Tyranitar land another critical hit this turn, which is going to be exactly what we want. Activate that anger point and put us to +6. Puts us in a nice position to start closing out the raid. And the raid timer at this stage is at a nice point as well. We see that anger point activating, +6 in our attack stat. Now we're going to be able to Terastallize, which we'll be able to do this next turn. As you can see, that next Dragon Dance has been blocked by the Taunt. It's still in effect, as we are going to be able to Terastallize. Means we stay faster than the Tyranitar as well, preventing those Dragon Dances, which is a big important thing in this raid. And this strategy is, like I say, going to be a great one for farming those high cost items over the weekend. Primeape, one of those Pokemon as well, it's available in the base game, so everyone has access to it. You don't need any DLC exclusive moves either for this set. It's a really good build for this event, and you can see once we start landing those +6 Rage Fists, we are going to be doing considerable amounts of damage in this raid. And even though we're taking super effective damage from these Shadow Claws, we're still able to just about take them, which is fine. Sets us up for the next turn where we'll be able to go for that next Rage Fist, and hopefully this one will be enough to break the shield. And the whole time, every attack that we take, it will be boosting the damage of that Rage Fist, so meaning that we're going to be able to cut through this Tyranitar pretty quickly, recover off all of that health that we have lost, put ourselves in that nice position where we're going to be able to break the shield pretty easily, close this raid up, and it's pretty consistent. I said the Totero is pretty consistent, but I feel like the Primeape is just as consistent, and you can see our 6th Rage Fist will not be enough to get the knockout. If you land a critical hit, it will, but we'll be very close to taking this Tyranitar down with one more after that, so you're only going to need to use 5 Rage Fists in this battle, and that will be enough to take the Tyranitar down. See, it does remove those negative effects from its side of the field. I lie. I said 5. It's actually 7 Rage Fists, but I mean, it's still pretty good, and the raid timer in a really good position. Like I say, it doesn't matter what raid partnering Pokemon you have coming into this. You can just jump into it, execute this strategy as I've outlined in this video, and it's going to be as easy as that to take down this Tyranitar pretty consistently while the event is running. I would say my #1 choice coming into this raid for sure. Primeape with that anger point ability is definitely a good choice, and you're going to get those high cost items as per usual. No Herba Mystica for us this time around. And of course, if you want to farm the raids, it will have disappeared from your map. You only get one at a time. You want to respawn it, hit your home menu, come down to your system settings, then down into system, and down into date and time. Make sure your synchronized clock via the internet is set to off. Come into your date and time options, just toggle through these, hit OK, don't change anything, just hit your home menu, come back into the game, and all your dens will respawn, so you'll be able to locate that 7-star Tera raid on your map once again, head over to it, and then rinse and repeat. If you found the build in today's video useful, please consider dropping a like on the video. It does really help out, and also consider sharing around in the community to help those who might be having a harder time with this raid. It is definitely a tough one. Do subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of our Pokemon Scarlet and Violet content, and also let me know if you've got a best build in mind that you've been running through the Tyranitar with. Drop it down in the comments section below. I'd love to see what you've had success with in this raid. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video, friends. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in another video very soon. So until then, take care and bye-bye.